Misi saya kali ini bersambung tentang sejarah pahit Sarawak yang berterusan pada tahun 1940-an. Saya ke Borneo Cultures Museum untuk melihat sebuah pameran tentang sejarah pembentukan Sarawak. Sambil melihat bahan-bahan yang dipamerkan, saya tertarik dengan satu plat yang unik. Inskripsi plat ini memperingati peristiwa pendaratan 8 anggota Z Special Unit berkenaan dengan sebuah operasi yang berlaku di Sarawak semasa penghujung Perang Dunia Kedua. Mari ikut saya dalam perjalanan untuk mengetahui lebih lanjut tentang peristiwa yang jarang diketahui ramai ini. Saya Tony Yusof, anak Sarawak, bumi Kenyalang. Sebelum saya mencecah usia 50, saya telah membuat satu bucket list untuk mengenali asal-usul negeri kelahiran saya dengan menerokai beberapa lokasi bersejarah yang berkaitan dengan pembentukan negeri ini. Ini adalah perjalanan saya di dalam Pejalai Kamek Orang. Saya dalam perjalanan untuk berjumpa dengan tetamu dari episod sebelum ini. Saya ingin mengetahui lebih tentang operasi rahsia yang dilakukan oleh tentera bersekutu semasa Perang Dunia Kedua di bumi Sarawak ini. Operasi ini dikenali sebagai Operasi Semut.
Hi, Edward.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
See you again.
Good to see you.
Right.
So we meet again.
Yes.
And we're here to talk about the Semut operation, right?
Yes.
What do you have for me today?
I brought a map, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the how Semut operates. Huh? Operation Semut is part of the Australian Army unit that was sent to Borneo to fight the Japanese. Towards the end of the war, the people were very frustrated, very angry with the Japanese because there's not enough food, not enough clothing. And the Japanese knew that the local people do not want to cooperate with them. So if the seaborne landing started by the Australian Army, the Japanese would retreat to the interior and they will shoot the Ibans because they were angry with them for not being cooperative.
Tak terlintas di fikiran saya bahawa tentera Jepun berani nak bunuh orang-orang Dayak seperti kaum Iban yang terkenal dengan memenggal kepala orang. Tapi tak apa, kita dengar lagi cerita Edward ini. Menurut beliau, Komando Special Force ini dilatih di Darwin, Australia dan menaiki sebuah kapal terbang bomber B-17 dari kepulauan di Indonesia dan diturunkan di pegunungan Sarawak.
Can you tell me where they were airdropped exactly?
They all airdrop at Barrio here, and there's branch up into three groups: Semut 1, Semut 2, Semut 3. Semut 1 under Major Tom Harrison. He was responsible for the areas around Limbang, Lawas, and also part of British North Borneo in those days, Sabah today. And Semut 2 under Major Carter, Toby Carter, and he led Semut 2 from Barrio along this Long Aka and then to Long Lama and finally to Marudi. That was his area here. And the Semut 3 was under Major Soshen. He was chosen to lead these guerrillas, mostly Iban areas. So Semut 1 and Semut 2 mostly orang Ulu, Kayan Kenyah, and Semut 3 is mostly Iban.
So these were all Orang Ulu involvement because Orang Ulu territory, right?
Territory.
And this is all Iban territory.
That's
So
right.
the troops here were Iban, over here Orang Ulu.
Orang Ulu.
Right.
Salah satu misi utama komando-komando dari Australia ini adalah untuk mensiapsiagakan masyarakat tempatan bagi mempertahankan diri mereka daripada serangan Jepun.
There was a story in Kapit where the Japanese wanted to go up country to buy rice, and the Japanese brought with them also Chinese workers together with them. From Kapit, they have to cross the Pelagus Rapid, and beyond the Pelagus Rapid is a place called bank of the river, and they planned the ambush there. So when they left Kapit in the early morning, so they put everything in the boat, guns, everything, Chinese, Japanese, Iban. So when they reached the Pelagus Rapid, they had to disembark because only the boat driver will be there because it's dangerous. So they had to walk. And then lunchtime, they stop in a place called Nanganai. That's the place where they're supposed to have lunch. So they already planned the ambush there. So the most prominent man helping Major Soshen was a man called Tudong, who is the elder brother of Tun Juga.
Oh.
Yeah. And so when they arrived Nanganai, so the Ibans told the Japanese, leave your gun in the boat. We're going to have lunch here. And the moment they came up, the Iban came from the forest and chopped their head off. And one of them was a young man called Juga, who later became Tun Juga.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tun Juga was actually part of the team as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Cerita yang Edward telah kisahkan dekat saya ini amat menarik. Saya ingin tahu cerita operasi ini dengan lebih mendalam dari kenalan Edward di Miri. Esok, saya akan naik kapal terbang ke sana. Lokasi yang merupakan pintu masuk tentera Jepun ke Sarawak semasa Perang Dunia Kedua. Jom, kita ke Sinun.
Entry point untuk tentera Jepun apabila mereka datang ke Borneo. Sebab utama tentera Jepun datang sini dulu adalah minyak. Ialah Miri kaya dengan minyak. Jadi benda paling utama apabila kita nak serang satu tempat, sumber dia yang paling penting adalah minyak. Dan Jepun mendarat di sini pada 16 Disember 1941 dan memulakan penaklukan. Dari Miri baru mereka gerak ke Kuching.
Simbol yang sinonim dengan Miri, the Grand Old Lady, telaga minyak pertama yang digali di Sarawak. Sekarang, saya nak berjumpa dengan seorang individu yang moyangnya amat terkenal dan dihormati di kalangan suku kaum orang Ulu.
Hi, Miss Margaret.
Hi, hello. Good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm
Good morning.
Tony. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Come, shall we walk?
Okay.
So, Miss Margaret, I grew up hearing a lot of your grandfather's name, the paramount chief, Datuk Temenggong Lawai Jau. And I'm not even orang Ulu, I'm Bidayu, and I still, I still get to hear his name a lot.
Yeah.
Can you tell him about him?
As far as I can remember, I was about probably 8-9 years old. He is a very tall, well-built man with a very loud, commanding voice, and that makes us kids in those days very frightened of him. And at the same time, we sort of look up to him and respect him. So that's the figure that we see in those days.
So I understand your grandfather was one of the key figures in the Semut operations.
Yes.
Can you tell me anything about that? Do you remember anything from when you were growing up?
He was the main commanding officer in Upper Baram.
Okay.
So what he did was he called all the young men who are willing to help in the operations, and they were ready already. Actually, the soldiers were ready to protect and to guide each longhouses. If the Japanese ever penetrate. These guys, they are very, very well trained. They know their ways in the jungle.
Because they are the people of the jungle.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so I would say those days the Ulu Baram was very well protected, and Datuk Temenggong was the main player in that security of the Ulu Baram.
Right. So you're talking about all the locals were heavily
Yes.
involved in the Semut operations.
Yes.
And then it
yes.
started off from Ulu Baram, you say, right?
Yes.
Do you know all the other key locations?
I do not know, but for the Ulu Baram, I know it is from Liok Mato onwards.
Okay.
Down until up to Marudi.
Liok Mato is the most ulu lah.
Ulu, yes,
downwards,
that's
okay.
right.
I'm just thinking about your grandfather when he was involved in the Semut operations. He must have been a fairly young man in his 20s.
Oh yes, yeah, he was very young at that time.
And
Could be mid-20s,
mid-twenties.
early 30s, yes.
And I'm just trying to imagine as a man of, in my 20s, just to have that huge responsibility of leading the people, leading the community in a situation where it's a life or death situation. I think to me that's a huge burden to carry for a man of that age.
Grandpa being the only son, so he was being brought up in a very disciplined and stern manner.
He was an only son, no?
The only son.
The
There were
pressure
two
was
of them, but the younger brother passed away.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. During the Semut operations, I understand that, like in Barrio, the officer was called Tom
Harrison.
So the one who was interacting with your grandfather was a different gentleman, right?
Yes, Toby Carter or something.
Toby Carter, I
Yeah,
think
Toby
it was.
Carter,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. In fact, Toby and his team of soldiers flew into Long Aka.
Yeah.
Then they trained the locals on how to fight and how to use guns. Mainly on how to shoot lah, actually,
Right,
because
right,
they
right.
know
I mean, the jungle is no
the
problem,
jungle is
really.
no problem. And let Grandpa manage to get them to build a fort. So we call it the Long Aka Fort. So
Right.
it
Also, besides Fort Hose, there was also other forts
Yes.
along the Baram there.
There's also another fort in actually just opposite Long San Long House.
Right.
So there was a fort there, and he placed soldiers there, so they take turns to guard that fort because it oversees the Baram River.
Of course.
Even though he doesn't speak their languages,
Yeah.
I do not know how they communicate in those days, but somehow it was very effective then.
Right,
Communication
right.
was effective, and he can get across the Alliance Force messages to his people. Amazing. I don't know how they do that those days without even understanding English,
Yeah,
even
and-
Bahasa as well. He is not educated at all. Yeah. He was also actually awarded some awards. I think he received them from the Queen of England. Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, which we are very proud of lah. So, not very people receive
Yes,
awards
yes.
from the Queen of England.
Only a few heroes deserve it.
Yes.
Lepas berborak dengan Margaret dan mendengar cerita tentang datuknya, saya berasa seperti telah melalui sebuah kapsul masa. Temenggung Lawai Jau turut memainkan peranan yang penting dalam kejayaan Operasi Semut menentang Jepun. Saya berasa bertuah dapat berjumpa dengan Margaret dan mendengar cerita sejarah keluarga beliau. Sebelum beredar, saya ada benda wajib yang kena buat. Cuaca di Miri memang panas hari ini. Mujurlah dah petang, barulah best sikit pergi pantai. Saya juga mahu berjumpa dengan seorang lagi kenalan Edward Mansell, iaitu Encik Lucas. Menurut Edward, Encik Lucas selalu lepak di tepi pantai.
Hi, Mr. Lucas.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
Good.
Good. When did you come over?
Just arrived Miri 2 days ago.
I see. So, how do you know that I'm here?
I just wild guess.
Okay.
I think because everybody hangs out here on this beautiful beach in Miri, where the wind is very nice, very breezy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I used to come here with my family, especially with my wife. We used to come have a fresh air here. Especially during the MCO, we used to come here for fresh air.
Right.
So, what are you doing in Miri?
I'm relearning our Sarawakian history because I know very little. So this is a chance for me to learn it at a more profound level. So now I'm gathering a lot of historical facts, really interesting stories about how we came about, how we became the state that we are now. You know,
Yeah,
the people, about our people. So it's very interesting. I'm learning a lot of new things about my culture, about your culture, about all our people's culture.
Is there anything that specifically you want to know about the Kayan people?
Yes, I will get to that soon. But actually, right now, I'm interested to know about the Japanese occupation. If you can tell me about, whatever stories you heard growing up, that would be great.
In Baram, where I come from, yes, the Japanese used to harass a lot of native people. My parents used to tell me that during the Japanese time, life was so hard, so miserable.
I'm sure.
And they didn't even have salt. Even if they have something to cook, but no salt, it's tasteless. I think the Japanese also did not administer them well. So because they're suspicious that these people may hide the European soldiers, so the Japanese tortured the local people.
Oh, tortured, huh?
Torture them or interrogate them, and to such an extent that these people are so scared of the Japanese. So whenever they see the Japanese coming in, they all hide.
Since we've been talking about how the Japanese used to interrogate and torture the natives, this brings me to my next question. The Semut operations, do you know anything about it?
Yeah, I have heard of the European soldiers, especially the Australian. What I heard from the people was that they flew over to Long Aka, and then the parachuted down, and then from Long Aka and some from Barrio, then they swept down the Baram River. So they collect all the native people. They confronted the Japanese. They have combat their shooting. At that time was they brought along the native, but they sheltered the native at the river bank, and then the soldiers fought the Japanese. I think the Japanese was defeated until there was no more fire back from the Japanese side. They thought that everything was over, and then one Australian soldier was mending his gun, something like cleaning his gun like that, and there was Japanese coming from the back, want to shoot him. He was not aware of that, but there was one native who saw the Japanese So he shoot the Japanese, so the Japanese died.
So he saved the life of the British soldier lah.
The Australian.
The Australian, sorry.
This European soldiers, the Australian soldiers, were so pleased with him, so he awarded him. And this man was called Laki Bayak. And he used to live here. His long house was Long Laput, but he has passed away already.
Okay. Any other stories about during that time, during the Semut operation? Because the locals were like you said, badly administrated for so long. Diorang simpan geram lah. So when they got the Japanese, they did all sorts of things to the Japanese soldiers. How true were they? Like, I also heard that some of the Japanese, when they were captured, they even panjang kepala and then also ate their meat.
Yes.
Oh, that actually happened.
That was true. I was told by another man again that he was one of the young men at that time who was brought by the European soldiers. Or what they call, I think they call them alliance soldiers. I don't know what they call the alliance. So they were brought down to Long Lama there. So the soldiers with the Japanese with the shot here, they were so angry with the Japanese that every one of them tested the Japanese flag. Flash, you know. So he himself told me that he said that it tastes like a shower at a bit. He said. I personally asked him, this old man. After this, the European soldiers said, "It's all liberated. It's all over." They said. And then the people are so happy and jubilated.
Right. Wow, very interesting times, huh?
Yeah. After that, there was a lone plane coming over, and then he shoot Long Lama, shoot at my long house, Long Pila.
Yeah.
And then shoot Long Aka. There was no fire back, so that means it's Baram River is all cleared. So the war is over.
The war is over.
The war is over. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Lucas, it's getting very hot here. My face is getting burned by the sun. Shall we move to a more shaded area?
Oh yes, why not? I'm getting very hot as well.
Walaupun ada cerita yang mengerikan, sesi borak bersama Encik Lucas amatlah menarik. Banyak cerita lisan sebegini hilang kerana tidak dicatatkan di dalam buku sejarah, terutamanya semasa penaklukan Jepun di Sarawak. Saya dapat rumuskan bahawa kekuatan tentera bersekutu yang menentang tentera Jepun semasa Perang Dunia Kedua adalah disebabkan kerjasama mereka dengan orang-orang tempatan yang terdiri daripada pelbagai suku kaum di Sarawak ini. Pengalaman di Miri hari ini sememangnya berbaloi bagi saya. Sebelum hari gelap, saya tak nak lepaskan peluang untuk menghayati sunset di Miri ini. Perjalanan saya kali ini berakhir di sini. Banyak saya pelajari dan banyak orang ternama yang saya dapat jumpa. Kita jumpa lagi di dalam perjalanan seterusnya.